Recording.
We're recording.
Okay,
Welcome
we're
down
back.
to Fans Better. Here we are. Billy, Joe, and
Dan Dale. Woo-hoo. No.
we three. We're all alone.
Okay, so
Got each other.
I have a couple of questions and then a story
My echo, my shadow.
for you to tell, because this was my next question on the last one before my camera cut me off.
Your camera cut you off?
It sure
Oh,
did.
too bad, yeah. Ho, ho,
Ho, ho, ho.
Hold everything. Somebody's calling. I gotta get it. Maybe my agent.
Your agent, Maya.
No. Wrong number.
Your agent.
Okay.
I think he's wanting to book me for the
He probably
nut house.
probably want to book you, okay, down
Yeah,
on Poplar
what's it?
Street.
The nut house.
The sit home for the silly.
All right. What is Billy and Joe's honest opinion of Joe Esposito?
I liked Joe.
It's just the look. I wanted to know what. No, was he a good guy?
Yes.
Yeah, he
Joe
was.
a good
He
guy.
was a good guy. Each one of the guys, you had to know them and know how they were, because a lot of people didn't. A lot of the fans didn't like certain
One,
guys and certain. But the thing about it is, when some of the fans tried to get to Elvis or tried to, ask questions, if they were in a hurry, it was up to those guys to make sure Elvis got going, and that they came across as rude.
Yeah.
And they're not. He was a likable, friendly guy.
So what was his main task, his main job?
Well, he was basically the foreman.
Okay, so like
him
public,
and Marty swapped off a lot of times, with,
maybe like public relations,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
Marty, he was foreman.
He was his go-to guy to, if he need set up
They had
plans or
different,
set up things or things that he needed like that.
Marty was more into the music. Joe
Yeah.
was more into the business.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So
Good guy. We were friends with Joe and Joni. We used to go to their house a lot. That's where I met Ann Margaret,
okay,
because she was good friends with Joe and Joni.
okay, and they lived out in California.
Yeah, they did then. They're not married. Joe passed away, but Joni remarried
Right.
to somebody else, and so did Joe.
But is that where Joe was from? Was California? Or was he
Chicago.
Chicago.
Okay. So how did he meet? How did he get
In the Army.
mixed up with Elvis?
He met Elvis in the army.
Okay.
Like Charlie did.
Okay.
In the Army. They met in the Army.
All right. Did every woman that Elvis had a quote-unquote committed relationship with know that he was not faithful to him?
If they didn't, they found out pretty
Right.
soon.
I mean, was it just like a common thing?
Then it had to be deaf, dumb, and blind.
Right.
Excuse me, I wasn't a good segue.
No, that's what he used to tell me when I'd go somewhere with y'all. You're deaf, dumb, and blind. You don't remember nothing. You don't. I said, I know.
Won't say it. What railroad did Billy work for, and what was your role there?
I worked for the Illinois
Central Gulf.
Central Gulf, right.
You were a carman.
I was a carman, right. We worked on box cars.
My daddy.
Repairing them, and also I was a car inspector. You had the shop and you had the yard.
Yeah.
Shop
You worked
was
both places,
working.
though, didn't you?
Yeah, shop was working in on the
Gotcha.
box cars, and the yard was inspecting the cars and sending them.
Mm-hmm.
You'd put a bad order car if there was something wrong. You'd put a bad order card on that and what was wrong with it, and they would switch it out.
Billy went to work there when we lived down on the ranch. When his daddy got sick. Well, in fact, he was working 3 jobs, but he went to work for the railroad, and my daddy worked there for years, and both my brother-in-laws, my cousins, just all kind of family that worked there, and that's how he got started on it.
Yeah, they got me a job at the railroad.
Good. So you worked there twice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, see, I went to work for Elvis, and
Then after Elvis
So
passed away, he
you
went
worked,
back.
but you worked there when you took a break for. You worked for Elvis, then you worked there when your daddy was sick, and you took a break from
yeah,
Elvis.
the kids was going to get ready to go to school,
Right.
so I had to,
Right.
I had to, find a job here in Memphis.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Or
then,
there
when
in
you
Memphis.
did go back to work for Elvis, and then after Elvis passed away, you went back.
Back to
Right.
the railroad.
So same thing, same one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Other than Billy, who would you say is was the most loyal member of the Memphis Mafia?
Oh my goodness.
Marty,
Joe, Lamar, Richard.
I mean,
all
everybody.
the guys.
all the guys except for just a few,
Yeah, a few
That-
of them.
loyal.
And they were all in their own right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, all the guys that worked
Yeah.
for him were loyal to him. If they weren't, they didn't stay. And the ones that
And
came,
if Elvis thought they wasn't,
they didn't.
Right.
They weren't there. You can see the ones that were there when he passed away. Well, and the ones that were there for a short time, like some of the ones I'm talking about,
Yeah.
they just didn't work out.
All right, what was the sleep schedule of Elvis and Billy? Like, what time would you say you got up in the day, and what time did you go to bed?
Depended on.
Depended on his hours. A lot of it, you had to. And a lot of times I had to catch sleep when I could. I mean, I had been up in his room a lot of times and fall asleep, and somebody punch me or hit me in the face with a pillow. You need to wake up. And so. But it was not too many times. Most of the time, I was on his schedule pretty much that I could.
Most of the time, it was get up about maybe 4, 5, 6 at night, something like that, and Billy go out and be out there with him, and then it was the movies and racquetball or something, racquetball until maybe 5 or 6 in the morning. Come home, get the kids up, take them to school, go to bed and sleep, get up, go pick our kids up,
Right.
and start all over again. That was on a typical day. Some days he didn't do anything, and we just,
No.
but
And it just depends. Some days he'd get up earlier. I mean, you just never knew his.
depending on what he wanted
He
to do.
didn't have a basic schedule.
No.
It's that simple. And you had to try to work your schedule with his.
With his.
It was a hard job in the sense that it was 24/7.
Right.
You didn't get an off day. There was no off days.
So because I know they would say y'all would go to his room or whatever. Did any of the guys on occasion have to go to his room or hang out in his room with him, or were there some that he wouldn't go in his room, weren't allowed?
Well, most
to?
of the time, Elvis was with somebody, and wasn't nobody else around.
Right.
Some would come to the house and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
The upstairs was totally off limits.
Right.
If it was somebody there. Otherwise, he might call for somebody, or he may want to spend time alone. I mean, and that was a lot of times. So.
But different guys would.
Yeah,
I mean, if he
different guys.
wanted to talk to somebody, he would call them up. We just usually had probably because he had a girl and I, me and Billy, and he could talk to Billy about anything.
Right.
And we played racquetball, and we, whatever he wanted to do, and we lived there.
Right.
So it was easy to, But a lot of times he would say, I don't want to see anybody. I don't want anybody up here. I want,
Right.
and he might stay up there a week.